welcome to FACEHAMMER. It's me,
Hello.
Russ, and Byron, and we're going to talk about the Warhammer World event that we went to, which is called Age of Sigmar Match Play event. Which
It's really easy to find once you've attended it and then want to go and remind yourself of who you played, because I didn't take down notes and it's a few weeks ago now. It's very searchable, and West Coast pairings is helpful.
Yeah, unless if you don't subscribe, you can't see anything.
Yeah, it's not helpful if you're not a subscriber. Prefer TTO myself.
So anyway, we've managed to find the placings, and we can remember roughly what we did, apart from some more than others. Hey, Byron, after your Friday night escapade.
I can remember all of the games in great visceral, bordering on pukey detail. Thank you very much.
Yeah, you weren't in the best shape though.
No, I got hit by a hangover bomb round 3, day 1, and it cost me and benefited someone else.
Which is funny because like a hangover bomb in round 3 just says what sort of state you're in the morning.
I was very happy in the morning. It was quite jolly.
Yeah, so we went up to Warhammer World. Saw some of our buddies.
Absolutely.
With, James Brock stayed at Les's. It was nice. And we played a tournament at Warhammer World, which has been the first time in like since pre-COVID.
Yeah. Should we just lead off precociously by saying it's the best Warhammer World that either of us have ever attended? That's the case for me. I'm presuming it on your part as well. It was wicked. It was amazing. It was run really well. Tables looked awesome. All the
tables had really good terrain. But also they had like a Sparkle Barker like print out of all the terrain and what it was. So you knew what all the rules were. Tables were themed. They looked really cool. The tables, obviously probably due to COVID, were like spread out, so you had almost like a complete 360 walk around of the table.
Yeah, you did. The lower capacity made some real positive changes. I get it's not practical and it's something that won't go on for long, but having half the amount of people and half the amount of noise there was that was the biggest plus for me. Not to belittle the work that Steve and the team have put into those gorgeous tables or running the event, but my God, is it nicer when it's not loud and echoey?
Yeah, it was great, and I mean, it was, what can you say? It was you'll see from the photos and how nice stuff looked. Neoprene mats rather than plastic tables makes a big difference to noise level and practicality. So
add in soft stuff, remove noisy dice rolling. It's like a double win. Absolutely huge.
You still get the problem if a dice hits the floor, it could go anywhere in the hall, which is... I still remember one of the early GW events I went to, and the guy I travelled up with, he always had this thing that he'd get this like blind spot for ones, like he'd roll a 1 at key moments, and he'd always like curse about it and say like something ones, and then throw the dice across the room. And he did it at Warhammer World. It literally was like ricocheting all over the place. I was like, dude. Because it's literally it's flagstone floor, so you throw in a dice, it just bounces all over the place. So squig dice would be fun at Warhammer World. I think they'd never land.
They never get recovered, that's for sure.
No, that's definitely true. You end up in the top of the shop or something on top of the roof. But yeah, nice to be back. Bit of a fun one. Bit last minute, because we were also on the reserve list. I think you got in last minute as well, didn't you?
I did, yeah. I requested if they had any spaces available, because in COVID times there was a chance that some people had dropped out, and they had, so I just hopped in, like the day before, basically.
Yep. And I didn't have Nagash for the event, so I decided to paint a Nagash in a day.
He looked solid.
Yeah, I was really happy with how he turned out.
Army looks wicked.
Yeah, I'm really liking my OBR. They do look, they're nice. I just wish they're a bit more interesting to play at the moment. If they had a bit more stuck.
If you're on the Nagash list, that Nagash is his own list. Nagash isn't. There's Nagash OBR edition or Soulblight edition, but he runs the show as he should, for better or for worse, right?
Yeah, he does. But also, like, you get the fun of basically not playing the new edition, so you can be this like jaded cop waiting around for your pension, hating the new edition and going, well, I wish it was like AOS 2 days. Back in my day, this used to be good. No, I'm kidding.
Good. Spoiler.
So I took my list, which was Big Hat Energy, for people who have never heard about going big dick in stuff like Warhammer. That was the idea. It's like go big hat. So it's the PC version. So I basically took Nagash, but I also took Arcan because I saw it was being. I think it was being run at not FACEHAMMER, but the Mancunian event. Someone ran it.
Resurgence.
Yes, and I was like, "Oh, that's fun. I love Arcan, so why not?" Like,
and it meant you only had to paint one thing, right?
Yeah, just
if you're going to add other stuff, one object, just a large.
And honestly, there isn't much more to this list. Nagash Arcan, 3 units of Mortek Guard in the Hunters of the Halfland, so they don't get roared. So they can use their shield wall, 120, 210s. The Burning Head for teleports, and the Umbral Spell Portal for big fingers. And that's it. Triumph is reroll charges, so...
That's the mandatory triumph if you're playing OBR, guys.
Yeah.
Like, do not consider anything else. If you are, you're wrong.
Yeah. So that was my list. The reason you take Burning Head is so you can hit yourself with Protection Nagash, you can teleport. Arcan can add range to spell portals with Arcan's range with the finger is 9 inches from the portal, it's an 18 inch. So you get some play around that. Nagash and Arcan heal 3 wounds automatically. You get the command ability for Nagash, which is real ones to hit and to save. So that benefits pretty much all your stuff. So you don't need the Soul Mason because he does that over the whole army anyway. Mortek Guard and Mortek Guard. You can stack Arcane Bolts, go in. You do have some... Nagash is better in Soul Blight. Let's just get it out there. Because you can use things like All-Out Defense, which you just can't use in this. The spell law's better.
I think the book's better.
Yeah, of course it is. Yeah.
It's like, it's not... I think the spell laws are actually...
Unleash Hell makes a big difference.
It does. I think he's got some real strengths, and actually the OBR spell law, having access to all of it at high casting values, is pretty powerful. But him backed up by stuff that actually matters is obviously better than him backed up by stuff that's there to not die. And you can get a surprising amount in with him in Soul Blight, I find. You look at the OBR list and you look at the Soul Blight list, and it's just like, do you want like whatever it is, like 3 units of Blood Knights or 4, I can't remember, or 4 units of Blood Knights, or do you want Arcan and 3 units of Mortek Guard? I think I know the answer to that one.
Blood Knights all the way, but I didn't have it paid. I couldn't get it borrowed. So, spoiler, at Six Nations, I'm running Nagash Blood Knights. So I thought I'd better get some games in Nagash. So, so that's why I took Nagash. And you tried and chested Slaanesh. I hate
tried
myself.
And chested. That's appropriate. Well, yeah, I took the Slaanesh that I've been taking. And I'm well aware now that in this edition of the game, that I still feel like there's too much crap going on that I don't want to change my list, because I know that me turning up and having one less thing to think about is helpful, especially if you've got a not easy army to play, which I still don't think they are. No matter what people are doing with them abroad, which is awesome and stuff like that, I think you've got to have a pretty charmed existence to do well with them, especially day 2 of an event.
Yeah, and like I think you only get better at playing by almost repeating the same.
Yeah, I'm finding that
you're honing the edge rather than like you're sort of if you take like, because you're playing the same thing over and over and over, you're just gonna get into the levels of I know this inside and out.
Yeah.
Then I'll change it rather than change it before you've done that journey. So
yeah. I don't know exactly how many games I've been doing, but there's definitely been like several penny drop, like 40, maybe. A lot for my standards,
maybe more.
At least.
That's a lot for you.
Yeah.
You don't play outside events a lot normally. I know you have been recently.
Yeah, I've been doing a bit more. So I've had like several penny drop moments, and I had one of those.
Was it like, the penny dropped, I should be taking Fiend Bloods. The penny dropped, I should be playing Bliss Barbs. The penny dropped, I should just play Slaves to Darkness. The penny dropped, I need Archeon. The penny drop. Why am I playing Slaanesh?
Place of Darkness.
The penny dropped. I hate myself. No, so no, I'm kidding.
Well, it's well, there's several. I had a discovery where my army got better in this event. That's a good one. So I realized that Hellstriders are better than I thought they were, which is lovely.
Hellstriders.
Yeah, they're great. They're really, really, really good. So yeah, I took exactly the same list, same very limited summoning pool of demonettes or demonettes, and yeah, did the same thing I've been doing, which went well and not well.
Did you play lots of Gargants this time?
I didn't.
Yay!
Actually, joyfully.
You tend to like you go to an event and you just end up playing Gargants for free.
Yeah, I'm just in orbit. They're like the sun and I'm like the moon. Like
moon.
Yeah, I did really want to play Tom Hewitt actually because he was at this event.
Yes,
and I would have really liked to play him. Get in best sports with his wanky bent list.
Yeah, but Tom's awesome. So
yeah, he's lovely, isn't he? I was next to him 4 games, like literally, he was either side of me. Like 3 or 4 games, he was either side of me. It's got a bit jelly.
I'm not on either side of most people just because I fill out.
Not with any spaced out tables.
Yeah, exactly. I get to. It was good. It was fat friendly. This event. It was good.
Absolutely. Shall I quickly run through my list then, in case people can't remember it from every event that we've done?
On the screen, but go for it. So
all right then, top to bottom, I've not changed the roles of how these play, but I'll quickly go through them. Keeper, she's overpriced, but she lets stuff go twice unless it's her. Still dies mega fast, still needs to get 6s to wounds, do anything that's meaningful. Still moves quicker than people think, and still survives slightly longer than people think if you put some resources into her. Sigvold, MVP, absolutely love him. We'll talk about his game 1 very shortly, but my fucking god, was he good. I didn't need much else. He was wonderful. Then we've got the
magnificent
epitome.
Is what he was.
He was magnificent, splendorous. Then the contorted epitome, which I'm actually, if I was going to change something in my list, it'd be her. She.
Exalted on Chariot.
Maybe, but just to even up points for some other stuff. The wizards are very expensive, and her spell is great, and you do need reliability for what you have in Slaanesh, but I think what you get if you fiddle around is it's worth considering not having her. I might also change the Triumph. I went for Keep Wizards Alive because the idea is that the Keeper is very important anyway, and she does often survive, actually. And then the Epitome tends to stay back. If she gets touched, she disappears. But I might move the Battle Line one, even though all those units are super squishy and are made to go in and die anyway. 2 units of Vanguard that do a lot of the holding, 2 units of Hellstriders with the Scourges, which are amazing and fine for their points and brilliant and very fast, and 1 unit of Bliss Barbs that you have to protect extremely carefully and are better than people think if you spend a CP on them and every turn, and if you've got the reroll 1 spell off from the Epitome. So yeah, that's it in cogs, which I still feel is very essential.
Yeah, I mean, it is good.
Reroll wounds triumph, which I think is a mistake actually, and it's taken me all of my games to realize that I should be on reroll charges for sure.
Yeah, seems like the best thing. Do more damage, but if you never get there, you don't do anything right.
Yeah, it feels bad in AOS 3. It feels real bad if you spend a CP on someone and they fail their charge, and then someone else who has a shorter charge that's less important also fails, and you can't reroll it. So.
And your CPs are better used in other places, right? You kind of have a lot of decent CP uses.
Bliss Barbs and my Sighole.
Yeah, and you also get the generic Lurid Haze one as well, don't you? Which is
lets you do all out defense in 2 places at once, which is required if your arm is squishy, which it is.
Cool. So that's your list. I think probably talk a little bit about the placings because I've got that. It makes it easy to do that first, really.
Yeah.
So we had 40 players.
Ish.
And then it was won by Ben Johnson with Stormcast.
I helped him out there. I'll come to that.
Then we got Legion of the First Prince in second. Fabian Quinn with Sons of Bearmat in third. Martin Moran just missing out with Slaves to Darkness, Host of the Ever Chosen in fourth. And then we got Slaves to Darkness in fifth. Legion of the First Prince in sixth. Matt Clark with Khorne in seventh.
Good boy.
Then James Clark, Legion of Night in eighth. And then Eric Nimmins with Courage in 9th, sorry, and then James Box with Big War in 10th, which is my my travel buddy. So
good man. He was very close to doing better as well. Chat about that at the end, but yeah, he was running some big mask energy.
He was. Sure. His mask stories were great. So every round it was like, what did you mask? He was like, I masked this, I masked that, and I was like, oh, this is amazing. Just want to run like multiple mask guys and just like
quad mask isn't bad.
Yeah, just like mask them off. Yeah, it was good. And then I was in 13th with my OBR after a couple mistakes, and you're in 19th with Hosts of Slaanesh.
Feels about right. Yeah.
So you were a 3 and a 2, and I was 3 and 2 as well.
Yeah.
So some very close games for me, and one pretty silly game, but it was fun. So there you go. And I think what we'll do is we'll just run through our games, like not in massive detail. I mean, my army's a bit weird. There's not a lot to talk about, but it's kind of like you can sort of.
Yours is very obvious for key bits, though, isn't it? I think I killed this or I didn't make that is.
The interesting thing about the OBR Nagash list is like you literally have no margin for error with battle tactics and things like that. If you leave Nagash exposed, because you can't like all out defense and this to protect him, because he is not that survivable when you can't stack saves. He's still good, don't get me wrong, but you know he's 1,000 points pretty much. So like, there's a lot of stuff in the game that can kill him.
The swing of him surviving on 2 or dying just is colossal, right? Like that's a game won or lost there, and to your opponent he'll feel overpowered or underpowered, and equally the same to you in both of those situations.
Yeah, and like one of the things I found with the list is that like you need to be planning a couple turns ahead, because if the Nagash is out of position or not in a position to do a tactic, then you're not going to score it. And it's really important, because that's what wins you the game, not killing stuff or all the other stuff. So it's like
completely being half an inch out is painful with him.
Not being able to reroll charges cost me massive. I think I had 3 double 1 charges on the first day with Nagash.
Yeah.
One of them was against Legion, which really sucked. So, you know, because he missed 3 turns, basically. The turn he rolled a double 1, then double turn when he was Bellacord. So that was basically a game. My own fault, really. That was the game I made a couple of errors in, I think, but it was first time. So, first game I played against Zinch, Larby, so he's the spare player for the event, works at head office. A nice guy, hadn't played much AOS, so he wanted some pointers on the rules. He knew a lot. He was fairly good, but Zinch is quite a complex army, and he didn't know his war scrolls. And yeah, not a good first player army. So
2 out of 5 stars for beginners.
Like Kairos, Blue Scrides, Nogride Firmitage, some Flamers. You know, it was Eternal Conflagration. Didn't have any horrors, because he said he doesn't like horrors. He thinks they're oppressive and they take too long to play with. So, which, you know, it's a nice decision that he knew that he needed time. He didn't want to take something that slows the game up.
Oh, really good.
And his list was solid, and he was a really nice chap. So we had a good game. We had a lot of fun chatting, and as you can see, the table's pretty awesome. And it was, I can't remember the mission, but it was like that.
That was his chariot. He had the burning chariot, didn't he?
Yes, he had burning chariots. Yeah, so
he had 2 of them. I think they're quite good.
Yeah, they are. So like, this is kind of more length in the game. So here we've got Kairos at the back with his Sangor Shaman. He's got the blue scribes and that here. Flamers, so he basically took the board position. I think I gave him the turn unit of Zangor on this objective, and this was the diagonal deployment. I basically always deploy pretty much Nagash in the middle with Arcan wholly within range of Nagash, so he can Mystic Shield Nagash, so then Nagash doesn't use a bolt spell on Mystic Shield or vice versa. So, and also the command ability for range affects him, and then just blob the 20 Mortec in the middle with the 2 blobs of 10 on the edge. It's basically always the same deployment. There's not really any difference.
It's nice if you got a 1-drop and you win and you commit. It's nice that, you know, you do the same thing every time, and your opponent can't really react too much around that, can they?
Yeah, but I was going to go 1-drop, but I went for a 5-drop, because actually with with Obion not being able to spend Relentless Discipline on Shield Wall is more important than the choice, because you don't care about going first or second.
Quite a good army for that, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like if they want to try and alpha Nagash, you can always best day in their hero phase if you're worried. But I don't.
Surprisingly powerful, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, he is a bit vulnerable to it, but you can then just deploy out of range. Like you've got options.
Yeah.
A 1-drop KO would be a problem. You'd probably get shot off. Not a lot you can do about it.
Yeah.
But that's kind of the. I don't know. I've not really played much KO in the new edition, so I don't know. Don't see
worried
around.
about like KO or like mass snake shooting, or
it's not too bad because the mortal wound. I'm playing against Inch, so it's very good. I'm playing in Petrifix, so I ignore one of the Rens, so it does help a lot.
Yeah.
So then essentially, like, Larby moves up. You can see that this is the Sparkle Barker I was talking about. With you can see his fate dice are pretty bad. He's got like 4 1s, 2 2s, a 3, a 5, and a 6. So it's a pretty bad fate roll. A nice cup of coffee at Bugman's if you're there. I recommend it. So the cover, and you go look at it's garrisonable. It's a wildwood. It's garrisonable. So garrisonable terrain's quite a cool thing. Like, I'm quite glad they're using it because it adds a lot of tactical nuance to the game if you abuse it or you use it to teleport units and stuff. I'll talk about that a bit later. One of my opponents was a bit like, no one plays the terrain rules. I said, yeah, but they're there. I'm like, I might as well play them. So what happened? I fingered off his Ogward Firmitage in the middle of the table, and I managed to move my Mortek Guard up with the extra movement from the Relentless Discipline in the middle. And actually, I double turned him, and then I actually moved, and then I charged his Lord of Change with the Mortek Guard because he had cogs up. It buffed my charges, and literally just got 20 Mortek into Kairos. Nagash went around the side and went through the Zangor and stuff around one flank, and then the other flank was held up. And yeah, it was lit pretty much like a Nagash Arcan party. Obviously, I was casting an awful lot, which gave him loads of fate points, which then he was summoning in.
You just depress the stuff that matters.
I just didn't care. I was like, yeah, you can summon. There was one point I think he was 1 point off a Lord of Change. It was close, and I was like, oh, that was a bit close, but it's fine. It's fine. Just load up the arcane bolts, go in, blow the bolts, kill the Zangor. That's a battle tactic. Done it with a monster, score a bonus point, take an objective of a monster. Okay, yeah, cool. Bring their monster down with a monster. It's all that stuff. You just all of that.
Yeah, like 4 extras throughout a game generally.
Yeah. And the good thing about having Arcan is it gives you another monster in somewhere else that you can do stuff with, and he's fast. Yeah, and I play quite aggressive with him, and also you can heal 6 wounds on both heroes, so you don't have to be coy with them.
You can literally just, rather than putting him into like Skeleton Warriors, you can put him into maybe something a bit more elite-y, like 3 wound infantry or something like that.
One of the games I used him to pin because I basically launched him in and I went, okay, well, our attacks are in, kill it. He heals at the end of the phase anyway because he killed something.
Yeah.
Then in his go, I best dayed, and I'm like, well, kill Arcan then, because he's not easy to get rid of.
Got enough to save too, haven't you?
Yep. 6 up Deathless, 4 up armor save, ignore rend, with shield or best days at 3 up.
Yeah.
Not easy to kill. And you can even, if you need the mortal wound power, you can load him up with bolts as well as Nagash. Yeah. But Arcan also becomes the guy that you cast stuff like Empower Nadrite on the Mortek, Arcane Command for extra Relentless Discipline, so all 3 Mortek can shield wall, or can move faster, because you need those Relentless Discipline. You're a bit starved on those if you don't roll many 6s. So,
and you've not got many units to roll the 6s on.
No, exactly. And like Mortal Contract and Decrepify are actually really good. So like one of them lasts for the game, and every phase that you've done damage, they take mortal wounds, and then the other one is you reroll 6s. So if you put that through the portal onto a unit of snakes, they have to reroll 6s, so they don't do their mortals. So there's nice synergy with those spells, and he gives Nagash a big finger. So so
it's a toolbox army, isn't it? But your toolbox is basically 2 guys, and then
your hero phase takes a while because you've got to do all that sequencing, and if you don't want to expel, you're like, okay. But I think you just got to accept that. Sometimes it happens, and you just go, okay, fine.
It happen 1 in 36 times, and you're casting a lot more spells than most people. Casting 12 spells,
11 a turn.
11, still lots.
So, yeah.
So
that was basically the game. It played out, and then Nagash got into Kairos, killed him. You see there, he just got into round the back there and just got his cheeky staff and just bashed him over the head, and that was it basically. And yeah, I mean, there was some play around the objective with chariots and the blue scribes. And then Arcan went into the blue. Arcan went 3 inches away from the blue scribes, and I was like, I'll just charge him with Arcan. I'll kill him. Double won the charge, no. So did I want to charge in every game in this one? Not that I was counting. I was. I charge a lot though. I'm kind of aggressive.
It's nice. I think you've got to play armies like that aggressively, otherwise you're not covering enough of the table. Your army's small. You've got to make it count where it is. It's a bit like destruction tactics with a magic phase.
Yeah, exactly. And then like even in on this bit here, you can see Arcan charging this burning chariot with his wound tokens there. He's taken a few damage, but he was fine. Mystic shield on him, so he's not a problem. You see he's got Larby had a couple burning chariots out at this point because he was summoning them. So he summoned 2 extra chariots in the game, which I think cost 18 fate points. But I think on turn 1 he summoned a chariot, and turn 2 he summoned a chariot. So it just tells you how many times we were casting spells. the magic phases were pretty nuts. But obviously Nagash gives me a great way of shutting him down, but he's also got a great way of shutting me down because the Lord of Change. Luckily, the match to 2 dice, and Kairos as well is a factor. So I think he used Kairos to try and save Kairos, which is how I like to try and get the dice out.
Yeah, because he's not affecting the board elsewhere. He's affecting his little bubble, and then you don't care about him nearly so much.
He would have done it to stop me charging him, but he didn't.
Yeah, with the Mortec.
Yeah, maybe because he thinks I could just re-roll it for a command point, but I was like, I can't re-roll.
Yeah. So a successful game 1 for you then.
Yeah, really fun. So I got through that, and it was nice. It was the first game I played with List, so I made a couple boo-boos, I think, but it wasn't too bad. And yeah, and super fun game. We sort of got pushed a bit for time because we were talking a lot. There was a lot of rules questions, and there are armies that are a bit techy and they've got long hero phases, so it took a while. So
yeah, the rounds should have been longer. One criticism of the event.
Yeah, 2.5 hours that's why one of the reasons I took this list.
Was it 2:45 maybe?
No, it was 2.5.
It's 2.5. Yeah, 3 minimum mandatorily.
I think the issue is that when I spoke to Steve about it, who's Steve Renner, who's the events manager, who was saying that because of the opening times and the staff, they don't have the option to do longer rounds. And so he was saying that the problem is they can't go an hour later because the shop's there and they can't shut and stuff like that.
Start serving lunch sooner, maybe.
I think when you've got more players as well, you just wouldn't get the lunch done. Because if you imagine if they
just got to let people go from when they can, and no one can buy lunch more than once. And
I think you just accept that it's 2.5, and players have to police it by taking small armies.
You're not like.
But I don't like it. But there was
not everyone's like your opponent making nice decisions for the sake of their opponent.
So. Yeah, and I did as well. That's why I took this list because I didn't want to take a normal OBR army because I'd never get my games done.
Yeah.
So it's like one of the reasons I took four War Scrolls, if that, 3 War Scrolls, 3 War Scrolls and 2 Endless Spells. It's like, well, I don't worry about it much. It's not going to take me all day. I mean, I only had 42 models.
Yeah,
so it's fine. Considering I've got 40 infantry, that's quite a bit. But no, I get it. I it's one of those things. I think the new edition doesn't lend. We've spoke about it before. Doesn't lend itself to 2.5 hour rounds. You need 3 because the battle tactic decision.
If you want people to enjoy each other's company, 3 hours.
Yeah.
But if you want to play like robots, maybe 2.5. And if people take a particularly fast army, then they can just walk around, chat, and look at other people's nice armies. It's fine.
Yeah, that's why I think you'll see a lot of I enjoy more Crusher, Gargants, stuff like that, because if you get time to actually interact with people and actually enjoy your game.
One drops, Arkham 1 drops. On the subject of nice armies, so I faced, looking very different and rather suave, Mr. John Kerr, who's lots more hairy than when I last saw him.
Yeah, I didn't recognize
which was
him.
years ago. Still a super solid painter and converter, though always has been, for well over a decade. He had his Sylvaneth, which is some gorgeous selection of old models and some heavy conversions.
Yeah, I've got he actually won one of the painting awards, didn't he? Which was the judge's choice. I've got the picture you take. I've got all the armies later, but I've got your picture you took of his. Big dude.
Yeah, lovely stuff. So I paid him, and I got the chance of first turn. Think I took it. I saw a gap. I saw a sig hole. It's my favorite type of hole, and I was in a I was still probably a bit drunk and on my way on knowing that I didn't have much mental capacity. So rather than tack about or whatever, I just rollicked straight into him and did awful, terrible things that John didn't particularly have an answer for. So I dropped down cogs, made a load of charges. Sigmar went twice, and I won the priority. And in 2 turns, Sigvald was largely responsible for Alariel, Durthu, and the Tree Lord Ancient. So that is
I think I've got a picture of him in the back of some Dryads. I think that's against Alariel with a 9 next to him, which is probably his number of attacks, and loads of 6s, which I guess is him just going in and just absolutely rinsing Alariel, I guess.
60 sexy Sigvald, yeah. Especially if you got reroll 1s off. He's 2s to hit anyway. Reroll 1s comes from the epitome. It's a 24-inch range spell, D3 targets if it goes off, and normally you're just hoping for 2, and 2's enough to make a really big difference to how my army performs. I prefer to face smaller elite-ish armies where I can concentrate my damage in the right zones and use my movement. I don't want to face mixed Stormcast who can appear everywhere or something like that, or Nighthaunt who get after saves. I just want to face a reliably elite predictable army, and this was that. It was a helpful scenario as well. Quite difficult for John to protect himself for the amount of stuff that he had. So Sigvald went straight in, went twice, went hard, and won the game for me, basically.
Yeah, super solid.
He was really good. He was a good boy.
We like good boys. So then rocking into my game 2, these would be fairly quick. So I actually had the pleasure of playing Phil from Wargamer Online with his absolutely stunning Crawboy army.
In a month, or no, it was 2 weeks, wasn't it? It was something disgusting.
It was so ridiculous.
The army really fast, yeah.
So he did it with oils. The basing, I thought, honestly, the amount of times I see
swamp basing
and I don't like it. His swamp basing was one of the best I've seen. Nice bits of colours, spots of colours like bright blue, bright pink, fungusy stuff. With
little froggies.
Water. Yeah, little frogs, and then wood. It's just really nicely done, and they're recess bases, which you can see them on the screen there. Obviously, massive converted Mega Gargant with Shaman dripping the idea. He's got this green splodge on his head, and that's the mind altering chemicals from the Shaman. He's dripping them on his head to. Is very narrative. Little froggy at the front.
Cool. His painting was gorgeous as well. That Gargant had one of the best feet I've ever seen.
Yeah, I like the fact he's got the ruddiness between the toes to sort of where and on the knee. So the skin tone's really nice. It's just really spot on.
Lovely. And my favorite.
Absolute gent to play. And even his Sledge Raker Beast he set up. Really like that. I mean, obviously these kits have just come out, and to have all these done to this level is pretty impressive.
Absolutely.
And it was really nice to get to play him because, obviously content creator, we had the Warhammer Online, the FaceHAMMER Online, where we had the Wargamer Online guys on, and we interviewed Phil, and Jack was on, and Luke. So if you want to check out their channel, Wargamer Online, they do battle reports. They're very top
good
blokes.
Production values, really, really good stuff.
Yeah, and the game essentially went into he deployed and he made a little bit of an error because his Sledge Raker Beast was very far forward, and I was like, that's a mistake, because if I kill that, that's going to really hamper his army, and it also wasn't near his Bolt Boys. He was put a lot of his stuff in terrain, and then he basically decided to try and alpha me by taking turn 1 and using super sneaky to put his gut rippers away from my Mortec guard, and then try and charge them and do an alpha strike on the Mortec before I got my buffs up and stuff. And it just wasn't really the right play, and he got a little bit in a muddle because he did the tactic where you got to run 3 monsters within a thing of each other, but obviously like the Sludge Raker doesn't fly and he's got Gobsprack and the Giant, and he kind of had to bunch them, all 3 of them up, which kind of like
slowing yourself down
helps
to trap
me
that one often.
I know you get the extra point. You're almost like, his whole army was so condensed, and in the mission where you've got 3 objectives spread out, it was kind of a bit of a gift, really.
More important to be in the right place than it is to get that extra point.
Yeah, and like you could see from this photo, Nagash basically just went straight into the middle of his army and killed his Sludge Raker beast, and I was just like, you're just going to go in, load up the bolts, go straight in the middle, because you got to. His gut rippers didn't alpha strike my Mortec. They eventually ground them off, so that was because of what happens. A few close moments, like Nagash got very close to dying because he got charged by the Giant, and with Gobsprack he got down to like a 1 or 2 wounds. He was close to dying, and I survived. And then 6 wounds come straight back on, and you kind of like, okay, fine, because the Bolt boys could shoot him basically. So it's like, do they kill him? And then I was bouncing more wounds back. And really, one of the key moments was when he was close to dying, and the gut rippers had to charge, but they had to get through this terrain, and they couldn't. This is probably the best picture for that, because of the and it's kind of a bit weird because this terrain's got really tight doorways and stuff, and he set his men up behind it. And he was like, I'll come out round it, and I was like, well, and he was like, and he sort of said, can I go through the doorway because I can't fit? And I was like, well, if you can't fit, then probably no, like, because in the rules you can't do that. And I said, well, and if it depends, and I sort of said, it's quite a big thing, and I was like, well, you can do what you want to do. And then basically he was like sort of pretty he kind of said, oh, I've hampered myself, and he tried to come around the side like here, got into Nagash, didn't kill Nagash, then I had the counter turn, the 20 Mortec went in the Giant, Arca went into the back of the gut rippers, Nagash basically healed up, and then that was essentially game, because he'd lost most of his units, and that was it really. But it was, like I say, that these games aren't going to be like super tactical back and forths. It's going to be, did Nagash die?
Moment.
No, he heals, he comes back, and quite exciting. And you just go big hat, put Nagash in, put Arcan in. You can see most of my games, Arcan's in combat, he's fighting, turn 2, he's getting in, stuck in. Because he's not bad. Like, he's not bad in combat at all. Especially when you get to reroll 1s. It makes a big difference.
Counts some mortals from his ghosties and stuff like that.
Yeah, and he's damage 2, rend 2 on the claws on the beast. It hits on a 4, but it's like, his staff does D3 damage, and so does it. It's like he's got 2 D3 damage attacks. So,
and you could all out attack him.
No, you can't.
I said if only.
I don't. It's fine. I don't need it. It's okay. I wouldn't waste a command point, to be honest. Even if I could, it's not worth it. But getting the +3 move on him is pretty big. 17-inch move, flying.
Wow.
It's good. So that was my game 2. That was a comprehensive victory. Nice to play against a really, really nice army.
Yeah, absolutely.
And Phil won best painted as well. So
got my vote. Absolutely loved it.
Got mine too.
Best swamp bases I have ever seen. A little note for people, which I think is an amazing little nugget of info. His little green lily pads you can see in his basing are crystal sprinkles, because if you drop flock in or anything else like that into a liquid, it instantly goes dark and you just can't achieve what you want to. So
that's interesting.
You have to use something that repels or isn't water absorbent or doesn't get swamped, basically. So little ground up bits of green crystal are the little organic things to see.
Oh, that's really interesting.
Yeah, he is a smart cookie. He made some very good decisions there, which I will be stealing at some point. They're great. So my second round opponent was James Gerard Hudson. Really, really nice dude. Pretty solid looking Free Cities army. And like I would say a balanced Free Cities army, but a pretty good one. God, they got some good stuff in that book. Nuts. So he was, if I recall correctly, Steam Tank ×2, Hurricanum, Halberdiers, Swordsman, Great Swords, one dude on foot who just did everything for 1 CP or for free by existing, Empire Free Guild General, I think. And I believe that, Engineer and a rocket battery and a organ gun. So
yeah, Hellblaster body gun, right?
That's it. Yeah. Just a
old
a
school.
lot of, old school and good. A lot of stuff, and the way he played it was he was lots of drops. I wanted him to go first, but was slightly worried about the prospect of him going first. So I deployed Varangard in a wood on this side of the table, and then some stuff central, but with the ability for me to very swiftly just be like nipping over here to kind of hopefully just part his army, so I didn't have to think about whatever was going on this side. And then Sigvold skirmishing on with Lloyd Hayes, he gives me the option to go after cannons or something. As long as it's not a steam tank, most of the stuff in his army, Sigvold would be a good prospect against. So I gave it to him. He deployed his general and his blobs of 3 infantry here, and then steam tank, and Hurricanum in like a triple blob, which seems to be everywhere these days. Just 3 large things in a triangle.
For that mission, right?
And then his artillery just kind of behind them. I gave him first and just crossed fingers while he shot at me with cannons. And Varangard in a wood with Best Day Ever are amazing. Not Best Day Ever, all out defense, or the Lurid Haze on, doesn't matter for me. They weathered quite a lot of shots, and he ended up actually charging into them with the steam tanks. Steam tanks ×2, and still, I think he wiped out 1 in the turn he shot and charged. I had fairly decent saves, but they were on a 1-up at that point, so not unlikely. Even against Ren 2, you end up on a decent save, and they got 5 wounds each. So when a D6 gets through, you might not lose 1. So 2 of those held up the steam tanks and did exactly what I wanted them to. And then I sent Sigvold, in my turn, Sigvold into his artillery, and Sigvold did nothing, like literally nothing. It took 3 turns for Sigvold to do anything, so he was tired after his game 1. And very carefully, I arranged because I knew just how good that general was and what he did to those 3 blocks of infantry around him. He was in Tempest's Eye, and he got off the spell, which I hate because I know just how good it is. But everyone within 12 inches gets +1 attack.
Wow, that's nuts.
It is good. I wrote a KO allies list for KO with the chainsaw dudes with this a while back.
Oh,
it's
right.
It's a very, very, very good spell. And his army in Tempest's Eye gets 3 inches extra move in the first turn, +1 armor save in the first turn, and he's got that spell. So the way that I knew the game would feel would be impossible in turn 1 and then achievable afterwards, as long as I didn't let him play on his own terms. So I wanted to stodge stuff up in combat, engage it where I could, and then the moment it wasn't first turn, I would feel like things were a bit more fair. And that's essentially how it ended up feeling. So I took the Vanguard and the Keeper in around the sides of his infantry, tried to engage where there was going to be the least possible amount of them to attack me back. And I prioritized trying to get rid of that general on foot, because he's just absolutely disgusting. General went down, and then turn 2, instantly he loses 1 armor save across the entire army, which suddenly makes steam tanks seem actually killable. Not that I did, because they're still really tough. And I took out the infantry. Sigvold held stuff up, but the real MVPs here were Hellstriders. They just went in, and I got 13 depravity turn 1.
Wow.
Yeah.
How?
Well, he went into he shot some stuff. He didn't split his fire, which is quite intelligent. Didn't go for like tempting things like the bliss bombs, just put it all into the Vanguard, which I think is the right decision in that matchup. Then went in, but I split my attacks, damaged 2 of the steam tanks back. And then in my turn, I'm quite good at damaging myself because I'm really weak. And I went into a lot of things in lots of places on the board, so like 5 Hellstriders into a Hurricanum.
Right,
in lots of places, I did 1 or 2 wounds and also received 1 or 2 wounds. Like Sigvold the idiot took 2 wounds to crew from War Machines and did 3 runes to 1 War Machine.
Oh, I've just noticed him in the picture, like right just between the 2 crews, and there's one guy like that. No.
Oh, he didn't need to be worried because Sigmar couldn't kill them. He did nothing. But anyway, he did. Sigurd went in and he damaged 2 things that didn't die, which wasn't what I wanted. That's 2 depravity, and he took a hit back himself. So that type of thing happened all over the board. Hellstriders doing 2 wounds, taking 1 wound, etc. The Varangard in my turn and in his turn. So by the time my turn 2 came around,
I can see you've just got wound markers everywhere. So,
yeah,
which is good for you. Right?
Yeah, it's 13. I will never have that many in my life again. Sometimes, if I play Gargants, I don't get that over a game. So you could summon what,
like 5 Demonettes or Chariot? What was it?
That's good. Summoning's good in my book. That's 30 Demonettes.
Is it?
Or a Keeper, yeah. Yeah, 12. I'm always going in for 12. Like 10 is okay, 12 is brilliant. That's a Keeper or Demonettes. So
12?
Yeah.
I thought it was 18 for a Keeper. Am I wrong?
I think so.
Oh, okay.
You could be wrong.
You've never have you ever summoned a Keeper?
No.
No.
I don't know
the value.
She's on the table. And 1's crap. Two's double crap. So yeah, I got the priority and my prediction was right when stuff didn't have +1 to save. It's not nearly so scary. So Sigmar wasn't great in that, but all of my other stuff was really, really good. And the Varangard in a wood, they just didn't die. They wouldn't die, and they held up basically a very scary half of his army. So I just had to pick my combats correctly for the infantry, which are all really good and very, very efficient for their points. Pick my combats there, do my pile-ins carefully, limit his pile-ins, which the Keeper did do, and that basically, along with Varangard, kind of just munched through them, and yeah, got the king safely.
Nice.
Yeah.
So I had probably my best game of Age of Sigmar in this edition, probably this next game. It's not a slight on any of my other opponents, but this was properly up and down, back and forth. It felt epic. It is probably the way I would describe it. Just fantastic game. It's not to say that my other games weren't great, but this was amazing. So I played Macro's Legion of First Prince, and we were talking quite a lot. And
how on earth did you have a good game against that?
Well, I'm using Nagash, so
you got a big crutch.
To be honest, I like it forces me to make some very interesting decisions because I have to worry about when Be'lakor and what tactic I pick and when that's coming into play. And because I've got such a little army, if Nagash gets shut down, that's a big problem. But I've also got the ability to grind his army out with Mortek Guard very quickly. So it's like he had Kairos, Incident Rage first, Be'lakor, some Plague Bearers, Sloppy Bile Piper, Blender Chariot with the sword thing that does the extra damage. And it was the Apex Predators. You'd like units that you score points if they kill a hunter unit. So you pick 3, and I think I picked the Mortek, Nagash, and I think Arcan, and he picked the Instant Rage, the Blender Chariot, and something else, like the Kairos. And so basically, turn 1, he moved. I just went balls out. He failed a charge on his chariot. I literally just charged everything. Just put everything in. Just charge it all in. Charge Arcan and the Mortek in the middle into the Plague Bearers. Charge Mortek into the other Plague Bearers. Mortek into the chariot. Nagash into the other Plague Bearers. Just like, right, I'm not having this. Just going. Just doing it. I had the bolts on there. I thought if he charged me with the rage first, I can then just bolt him off and all that kind of stuff. So basically went in and went, right, I'm just going to go. Basically deleted most of it, if not all of it, over 2 turns. The Instant Rage firster, I got him down to like a couple wounds, and then I got the turn I had this charge where he had his Be'lakor Rage in a triangle, and I thought if I get this charge, it's game over, because he's going to go into both Kairos and the Instant Rage, kill the Instant Rage with bolts, kill Kairos in combat, it's game over. Yeah. Double won the charge with Nagash. No triumph.
But he uses Kairos at this point.
Yeah. So we're literally, it's not happening. I was 3 inches away, so it's like I also tried to like finger off and magic, and it just, at first it kept surviving on like a wound and then healing and then going in. And there was a key moment where he went in to the 20 Mortek and basically deleted them all. because he just rolled really well. And then Be'lakor got in the middle, and then he was out grinding me, and then he Be'lakor'd Nagash, and then I thought I need to take the turn because the board state, I need to take the turn to keep scoring, because if I don't take the turn, the first goes in and I lose the Mortek and Arcane in the middle, and then it's game anyway. So I was like, I need to take the turn, which meant Nagash is out for another turn. It also meant if I give the turn away, I get to pick the objective to remove, and I removed probably the wrong objective in hindsight, because I was thinking when Nagash will be free and I can move away, I don't want him to sat on an objective, but I should have just left the one that he was sat on. And I didn't, which is a mistake on my part. But yeah, just the game just got away from me. Like literally, like it was back and forth every turn. Matt got a unit of 10 Plague Bearers back every turn, without fail. You need to roll a 10 on 3d6. He got it every turn. I think he rolled it on 2 dice every turn, and the other dice was spinning. It was always 11 plus a spinning dice. And I was like, well, it's kind of
it's so reliable. Odds are you do, average roll is 10.5 on 3 dice.
Yeah, and then like Kairos shut some key spells down, and then it comes to the end of the game, and this is just a bit of a meme, really. So I was there, and I was finally able to get Nagash, but I couldn't get the battle tactic unless I killed Be'lakor. And I was like, how am I going to kill Be'lakor? And I had this shot where I put the mirrors down, I put the mirrors here, and I finger him through the portal. I roll my cast dice. Of course, Kairos rolls a 6. It automatically stops the spell for the portals. That's now not going to happen. If I had, it's actually later on in this. I think I've probably got another shot. Yeah, here we go. So you can see the portals. If I finger Be'lakor, then he dies. I think he stopped dust. But if the spell had gone off, we did it. I would have killed Be'lakor. I would have won the game. It come down to like 1 point. It was like that close, this game.
Awesome.
So amazing game, back and forth. You can see he's got horrors. I think he had 5 units of demons for free in this game. Not getting the instant rage first down, making that key double 1 charge. But really the biggest mistake I made was not taking the furthest away objective, because I thought I had that because I had Mortek on it. But then his summoning overran that objective, and I should have summoned. I should have left the Nagash one, because to get that, he has to come near me. So which I should have thought about it, and I didn't. So it was a bit of a mistake by my part. And then I thought, to be honest, the game was over on like turn 3, and even Matt was like, "This is basically game," and I basically rolled that double 1 charge, and the whole game just flipped on its head. And then all these things compounded, and the instant rage not dying, leaving on 1 wound, then going in and killing, having a spiky damage turn, and then me failing the charge. Then he always kept getting the spawn spell off. You see, you've got multiple spawns, because I couldn't just unbind it, because he kept popping a 6, and then it would go up to 12, and I'm just like, I can't. And it's D6 mortals, and it just added up, and the game just got away from me. So super good game, lots of fun, but yeah, wasn't to be.
So from Russ's very tight interactive game, we'll cover mine fairly swiftly. So I faced Ben Johnson, who ended up taking out the event, and my hangover had really hit this point. I was feeling pukey and bad and awful.
That's why I don't have any photos.
And like I'm an idiot. There won't be much of a photo anyway. No. So I think Ben looked at the matchup. It's actually quite a bad one for him. He just had a load of Dracothian stuff and a character. Deployed fairly aggressively to give himself a chance. Obviously, I was going to take the first turn and then just try and pin him and damage the poop out of him and weather the stand-in shoots. And if I did, then I'm in a pretty good position. But I had to give Ben the first turn while I concentrated on not being sick. So, which he was very surprised about. He offered to give me like 30 minutes, but that's not what I want to do. And then, play a very rushed 2-hour game at that point. So I gave it to him. And he went in, did everything that you would expect. It's a pretty elite army, and my army doesn't like being attacked by elite things. It likes attacking them. Killed the keeper by a wound, and then I couldn't really do much, and that was the game. So sorry for not giving you more of a challenging one there, Ben.
Sometimes that's all it is, though, isn't it? I mean, when he's got a polarized list like that, it's not. There isn't much more to say, if you weren't particularly in the right form and you gave the game up, it's like, well,
Yeah. Well, I just had to sit there. I knew what I was doing when I did it. I think I probably would have had a fairly good chance otherwise. In retrospect, I should have just asked for 5 minutes, gone, sat outside with some water, and and then come back. I did have some water, but
fresh air is the main thing, isn't it? Just go out in the fresh air, then you'll throw up.
Completely. They had the door closed for some reason in the bar. I tried.
The balcony.
Yeah, which would have been helpful. So that was silly, and I felt silly because it was ultimately entirely my fault. And I think I would have had a decent chance in that game. It's a very good army, and Ben's a very good player. Looks awesome as well.
Cool. So rip roaring into day 2. So I ended up playing Jack, so the son of Phil from Warhammer Online. So I got to do, normally it's some other daughter combo you want, but I got a father and son combo, so not quite the same thing. So against Morathi Bow Snakes. Now, luckily I had played, well, actually, because I'd played against Joe, I knew a little bit more what to expect. Slightly different list because he had a big unit of the Combat Sisters. And I was surprised at the play that he basically tried to alpha me with that unit with the run and charge, because they can go quite fast with the Medusa.
They go mega quick, very reliably.
And I deployed quite far back because I knew that. I'm not going to deploy on the line. So you can see I'm quite far away because let me just show you this. This is kind of the line you can deploy on. So I've got a good distance here. I didn't want to be too close. I thought, well, he might try it, but I kind of hope he does, because it means I'm on a chance for a double, and he's
got an obvious middle juicy target.
Mortec guard, they're not easy to kill. Like, even if he got the charge, I don't think he's going to kill him, and I made sure my characters wouldn't be pinned. So that's why I got Nagash and Arkan quite far back. I was worried about Morathi pinning Nagash. That's really the main thing I'm worried about. And then it was this again. This was a super close game, and when we were doing the math, I thought I couldn't win this, and then it ended up that I did win it right at the end. But it was super close. So he went up, and went for that alpha. Spoiler, didn't get the charge off. Okay, so my go, I literally went ham. I went big hat. I definitely went big hat, and it was big hat energy in this game. And I even said, I'm going all in. Arkan charged over the top into the back of the combat snakes into his character, in the middle of the table. I was so proud of Arkan. He was doing such a good job. I teleported Nagash. Nagash rolled a monster charge, so I thought, well, I'm going to charge into Morathi, into the bow snakes, which I hit with a spell which they could only have to reroll 6s. So I was like, you can unchell, I don't care. And I'm just going to try and do as much damage as possible.
CP, doesn't it? Which is quite tempting.
This is what I was doing. I basically thought, if I basically hit both snake units, he hasn't got enough CP to make them immune to battle shock in both places. So he's going to have to take a battle shock test. And I checked the Mortec in, the 10 Mortec, 20 Mortec, and now Can in the middle, Nagash into the snakes. I literally just went ham. And this was his buffs. I think he had Mystic Shield on, and he had the hand up, which gives him some bonuses and stuff like that. And I just went for it, and went pretty well. So killed a load of the bow snakes. Didn't do too much to the all-out defense combat guys. I chipped off his priest. I killed his hag. I did a couple wounds to his hero. I kind of just right, okay, I'm there. And I'm still in combat, so in his go, he's retreating out. So he can't, he can't get me. Then I piled in Arkan to pin Morathi, and so he wasn't going to get Nagash without Morathi, because I was worried he was going to get into Nagash, then Nagash wouldn't be able to move away and get the bow snakes. And then eventually Nagash killed the bow snakes, and then Morathi, I killed the combat snakes. And I had this really weird thing going on one side where the Mortec, they basically garrisoned a building, jumped out of a building, charged past his guys to take that objective at the back, and didn't kill them. It left them on 2 models left in the unit, and he passed his battle shot test on a 1. If he had lost that unit, that's game.
Oh.
Right? This is why it got really close, because that unit ran away, and I could get the battle tactic to kill a battle line unit, because I couldn't kill And then I was like, oh, it's all going back and forwards. And then what I did, and towards the end, I had bolts on the gash.
Use them at range.
And I'd taken Morathi 3 wounds off. Then in his go, I basically, at the start of his hero phase, went, here's another 3 wounds, you're dead.
Yeah.
Because I can keep them until my next hero phase.
Yeah.
So I burnt them in his go. So both Morathis dropped because I killed her. And then I was like, well, that's now going to win me the game because you can't get enough points.
Yeah.
But without that, it would have been.
Did you realize that, or did you realize that slightly afterwards? And like, oh,
I knew I played for it, but I had to win I knew it was a thing, but I just was there. I was thinking, if that unit of witches had just not died, then it would have been close, because he went in like and Morathi was just causing me problems, like flying over, capping objectives, pinning me with a little Morathi, Nagash trying to get across the board to get to the 2 witches that I couldn't get, and then like it was all a bit. It was like, oh god, am I going to lose this game now because I just don't have enough board presence
as well, or something?
Well,
who could rally, and you could have like 6 there.
He did rally them. He got like 2 or 3 back, but I had a chance to. He ran them into the corner because I still had killer battle line unit.
Yeah.
So if I tried to teleport Nagash and I didn't get it off, and if I teleported Nagash and got in, I would have won the game. It's just loads of stuff like that. So it was a really good game, really close, back and forth, went the distance. Great fun. Jack was a great opponent. Really fun, really good. I mean, I had some great games at this event with this list. It's so much fun playing with Nagash and Arcan. It's just silly, unadulterated fun. I just love it. So I'll definitely be playing this again.
Well.
Everything matters. Everything's exciting. Nagash is a big boy. You just feel good about yourself. It's all good.
Definitely. I could tell from your games that you were having enjoyable ones.
Yeah, and that was it. That was a victory. I had a really good time. That was good. So, what about yourself?
So I'd had loads more sleep, and should have been playing better. So I woke up and I saw that I was playing Matt Clark. I wanted to play for forever. He wasn't being a Slaanesh bro at this one. Just me flying that flag. He turned up with Khorne, which I thought for a while are better than people are giving credit for. I didn't realize that they were this much better, and I made a mistake. So in this game, Matt played really well and is an absolute A1 opponent. Super happy to play him again. Had some real good chats about Slaanesh and stuff like that. I made a key mistake. The way that he runs his list generally, don't know if he did it against you, but you have a triangle of Bloodthirsters, and then you have 1 behind who can give them the 6-inch pile in, and you end up sitting with the paying 1 blood tithe, I think it is, or low blood tithe for 1 CP. Like, that's good. Like that is an efficient really bit of farming in AOS 3. So you always seem to have CPs everywhere. It's not like his army was hugely maximized. Like he had some blood crushers, which are pretty poo, I think. And some stuff in it, but those monsters, it's very hard to go into one. You can't go into one, and unless you're extremely lucky somehow with exact measurements, you're just always within 6 of some other stuff. One of them is the internet range one, which is super scary. Has ASF on it, which is a really good call.
Yeah, it's the artifact from the Legion that nobody ever took. Having always strike first with the guy that explodes, and having Scarbrand with the ability to like sit back and then pile in 6. It's really scary.
Yeah, super grim. It's a really, really techie way to play it as well. I think they've always been a stealth tech army, Khorne. Like what you do matters with them. They're like Slaanesh, but there's a few nuances, and they've got a bit more AoE and stuff like that. So I had a couple of things in this game. I engaged the triangle badly because I just had a momentary blip where I forgot about the power of the pile-in and took his bait, really. And there was also another one when I brought Sigvald on and I got a successful charge against a target, but not the target I wanted. I think I need to get a 7 or an 8 on the dice, plus his 3 to get into the internet range Bloodthirster, and I have ASF. And it's my turn, so I would have gone first there. And I re-rolled the charge and got like a 3 or something, which meant that rather than going into Karanak and just accepting him as, a free win, I went for the juicy target. I still don't know, I still don't know now which was the right choice, but it's a game of probability, and having a certain rather than a potential, maybe I should have just taken that taken him out, then he wouldn't have caused me issues later. And he would have had to go, somewhere and deal with Sigurd. As it was, Sigurd rolled a low charge and couldn't get into anything. And I'd spent a CP, which feels bad with this army. Like, feels really bad.
Sometimes you just got to play the believe play, which is where you just believe it's going to work, and sometimes it just doesn't.
Yeah,
it's like,
yeah,
it's
I think so. If you get a chance of I think that it wouldn't have wrapped up the game, but it would have made a big difference because it took his ASF out of the equation, took his AOE out of the equation, and then I could have bullied up on something else.
It's very big.
So as it was, his ASF dude went first, wiped out I think he wiped out it was 1 and a bit Varangard and some Hellstriders, and did some wounds on the keeper, but not as many as we were expecting. And the Vanguard overperforms, took out the remaining wounds on Scarbrand, and I felt like I was really behind. Losing, I lost Sigvald for free, which feels bad. He is important to me. Keeper was just hanging around, feeling pretty useless without a viable target to go second. He did a good job on my Varangard as well. I'd lost some Hellstriders to the AoE. My army starts feeling small and it was feeling minuscule. And then I made a real mistake with thinking 2 turns ahead as far as summoning and objectives went. So you can summon from the Thane in Slaanesh, and I'd racked up a fair few points over the course of me dying and doing some damage to him as well. And I just summoned in the wrong zone with Demonettes. I didn't think they've got run and charge, which doesn't come into play in the turn you summon them. Normally you just pop up cogs. They've got reroll charges. You cross fingers and hope they make that 8 and go in and blend something and don't get hit back.
Yeah.
And I could have played in such a way that if I summoned them to the right of the Thane, they would have had it was like a 50-50. There's a battle line here for me to wipe out or a battle line here for me to wipe out. Either would have been fine. If I thought about the turn ahead, he had his general Bloodthirster up here. I could have gone here, wiped out this one. I did win the priority. Then they would have had a move, which can be a run and a charge.
Yeah.
And then got into his general, and them going first into his general.
Bring it down or whatever, and then it's like,
yeah.
So.
And
the thing about Bloodthirsters, if they go, they do loads of damage, but if you go, you kill them. It's like,
exactly that. And I know what it's like because it's very similar to my army in a way. I just didn't think I had enough. And my head was down, it was a hard situation. I was doing my best, and everything had been happening over this side of the board. And I think that's literally the reason that I summoned on this side of the board. I could have gone here, or I could have gone there. There was a target here. There was a target there. It was a completely level pick this side or this side. I just picked this one because it was there without thinking. And had I thought, if I win the priority and if I get a decent run, then I could have had myself in the game on really fighting from the back foot. It would have been a proper underdog victory and would have been amazing. So I didn't give myself that opportunity, and Matt played quite well as well, I think. So a really good game, and I got a huge kick out of seeing the potential of Khorne. Actually, it was a very cool list. I enjoyed getting beaten, even though it was frustrating.
Yeah, I same really, which is a good segue, I guess, because I then played Matt after you played him. Really good. I mean, it's a good chance to play him because I've not played Matt before. Don't see him at that many events, although because he's doing his university and stuff, he doesn't get to that many at the moment. Obviously, COVID as well. But before we'd been at a lot, but I'd never played him. Interested to play against Khorne. I was like, oh, this would be interesting. I in my head, I was like, I just need to see if this is going to work, and it was probably this wrong decision. Mistakes were made, let's put it that way. So
last game you were either gonna go 4-1 or 3-2 at this point.
It's completely irrelevant at that point, so I just thought let's just play positive.
Why aim for a conservative, or try and not get
exactly. So he's got his triangle, he's got that threat of Scarbrand piling, and if you charge his Bloodthirster and kill it, Scarbrand piles in and kills you back, so it's scary. His banner is behind the altar, getting ready to garrison it. And I was just thinking, well, actually, I've got a choice to get a double turn here and all that sort of stuff. So I basically chucked the gas straight into the middle of all his Bloodthirsters because I thought, sod it. But one of the things I didn't do is I didn't get Mystic Shield off.
You know the rules about that, don't we?
I know, but I didn't die. And I thought, if I win the turn roll, I'm going to heal 6 wounds automatically and then get D3 back, then Mystic Shield myself, then kill the Bloodthirsters, and it's game over. But I didn't win the turn roll, so Nagash died. And I was like, well, that's fine. Like, it's still a game to play here. So Nagash basically decided, I need to go to Bugman's. I'll get a coffee. I want to go around Forge World. So I put a picture of him on the table looking into the shop, like looking at his 40k army he wants to collect, whatever it is, his chunk of resin. So yeah, he was basically out of the game. That's the first time I've lost Nagash. There's a little tear, and I was like, okay, fine.
Oh.
Yeah. Then this was just, this is gonna hurt. There's a lot of stuff. I've got to use my Mortek Guard and Arcan. It's like playing with half an army. I was like, cool, fine, I'm up for this. It's not a problem. Let's go. And I was like, yeah, let's have some fun. And he was like, oh, you I was a bit surprised you did that. And I was like, yeah, well, it doesn't matter, does it? It's just a bit of fun. It was just like, I don't really understand why you just went in. I didn't kill any of the Bloodthirsters, and it was got to be a mess. And I don't think I got many photos of this, but there was a moment. Oh, there is a moment. Yeah, there was a moment. So I pinned, like, I charged Mortek in. I had a chance to kill his general, kill him. The Scarbrand could pile in. And then I had this moment where Scarbrand went into, like, I charged Mortek Guard into Scarbrand. I thought, well, I'd try and kill him. And then I put Arcan in over the top. And it claimed the back objective in his area. And I thought, if I win the turn roll, Arcan could charge backwards and kill Scarbrand. And I'm killing a monster with a monster.
Yeah.
And then he's not going to be able to kill me with his Whip Thirster.
No,
because
it's quite weak.
It doesn't do enough damage.
No.
And then if he charges Arcan, then I'm like, yeah, I'm back in the game here, and I got a unit of Mortek grinding away. But I lost the turn roll, so then Arcan got triple teamed by Karnak, a Bloodthirster, and Scarbrand.
Karnak hits pretty hard for a doggy.
Especially when you're his prey, and he got a 3 unit of dogs out of it, but it's fine. So I was like, Arcan was like, big cat energy, over the top, Hail Mary pass. And then it was like, win the roll, it's fine. Oh, I did have a moment in this where he Cursor Yearsed off the Incident Rage Bloodthirster. Just Cursor Years it off. Because it fails on a 1, but I just kept rolling not a 1. And I was like, that's 10 mortal wounds, is that enough? He's like, yeah, he's dead. I was like, yeah, big hat energy. So I was like, actually, Arcan was amazing in this game. And if I'd won that turn roll, I reckon I could have killed Scarbrand, and I would have been like, Scarbrand's dead.
That would have been a story.
You know, I'm going to survive this. I've got my best day, got my Mystic Shield up. And Scarbrand only had like a couple wounds left, so he was pretty much going. And then I was like, I've still got my other Mortek unit. Arcan allows me to put models back in the units that are still around. And I was like, there's a game here. And then, no, it wasn't a game. So, yeah, so that was it, really. That was my last game, and I lost to Matt. It was great fun. It was a Khorne-themed board for Khorne army. And Nagash died on turn 2. Bottom of 2, basically, top of 2. So I had 1 turn with Nagash, then he died. So to feel like I had a game still was good.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, that was fun.
Awesome. I thought he was a proper A1 opponent. I really enjoyed.
Oh, Matt's awesome to play. Yeah. I mean, to be honest, everyone I played was spot on.
Yeah.
And I had a really good time. I had 5 really good games.
Same.
Super tactical, super fun. I wasn't too bothered about this one being like, I was just there to have a bit of fun, really, and I've definitely achieved that. So yeah, happy with that.
Yeah. So I was hoping for a nice matchup for my last game, 2-2. Had a lot more sleep, but was still pretty tired, and I got a Techless 1-drop.
Yay!
Matt let me know that he played my opponent, and he was amazing, which was nice to hear before getting into the game.
That's always good to hear that, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. I rocked up fully aware that on a coin toss, I needed to get first, or this would not be a game.
It's your 1-drop too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not a game. That's not me being, like, down on it. He'd just wipe out half my army and I'd be dead. And then I'd be like, oh, Sigmar can try and win the game on his own or whatever. So I did win the drop.
Got a picture for this.
I dropped. Oh, don't go for that one yet.
I've already done it. Sorry.
Oh, okay. Well, I can go in the build up to it. This was a wicked game. So I played Ben Fisher, who'd come over from Germany. He was doing like the Warhammer World trip, and I brought an army with him. It was a nice looking Lumineth army with old models, and that's pretty classic. I liked his approach to his techless model, with the one classic that I really like on the floor with the beastie. So I went first, which you have to do in this situation, and I just went tried my best to get spells off no. Because that's how it goes, and went in all guns blazing. And this is the start of my realization that you should take the reroll charges triumph.
Yeah,
absolutely. Not that it would have made a difference in this game, but things in this game highlighted how important it is or was. So he'd made a defensive central blob castle, techless inside, stupid on foot wizard on the terrain, doing
Law Seeker.
The one doing is it the Cathlar who makes you take
battle shock and then double whatever
bloody bullshit. Just absolutely ridiculous. That on terrain and then just waves of dudes. Quite a lot of shooting as well. So Sigvald and the Hellstriders dropped on the side to come in and engage one part of his edge. He'd left this Sigvald, slightly larger than Sigvald slither at the back of his board that was just a little canal through to techless. I'm proper thirsty for it. I wouldn't have been able to make it in, but if I got it and then got the priority, depending how his casualty removal went and how heavy Sigvald hit, there would have been a good chance. So
basically, he left you a sneaky peek at techless through a hole, and you just went for the hole.
Yeah, exactly. It didn't go well for me, unfortunately. So
suckered you in. You just glimpsed
Sigvald came on, and before the archers are buffed, they're only doing their mortals and sixes and stuff like that. He Sigvald took the stand and shoot, and he just rolled awfully on the non-mortals. Took 3 wounds on the charge in, which he really shouldn't have. One's on my armor save, and then failing the 4 up afterwards happened quite a bit. So he went in limping. Had his first round of attacks, and then he just got smacked back by 3 spearmen or something. Just died. Just failed my saves.
3 wardens, just
yeah, literally, he died to crap. He died in the
wardens are not crap, but yeah, I get you. Yeah,
in the most
crap.
The most underwhelming circumstances he's ever died in. In the meanwhile, everything else I had attempted its best to go into his front line. Varangard failed a charge that was a 7. With a reroll that was really important, and that's the example I'm talking about, the importance of the charges. So it's not that if I'd had a reroll I might have had a chance to make it and the game would have been easier or anything, but just how important that one example is enough for me to stop being an idiot and getting +1 to wound. It's not better objectively.
Yeah,
it's stupid of me to ever have thought that it was. My army needs to get in and do shit in combat. If it's not in combat, who cares about a wound roll? Yeah, exactly.
That's why you need to take more bliss barbs and you're fine. Don't need to get into combat.
Hey, my bliss barbs are all right in this one. They did some proper heroic stuff. So anyway, I went in. I had a pretty damagey turn 1, not where I expected, and where I expected to do damage, I didn't do so much, and where I expected to not do much damage, I did tons. So my epitome went in and just mullered a load of stuff, absolutely mullered it. I stopped him piling in with the
locust,
with the keeper. Nice. Yeah, the locust, really, really good. That stopped him from maximizing particularly, and the Varangard were just fairly hefty. And then he started bringing out bravery shenanigans on me, which are awful and horrible, and I lost things. He had his first turn and just started plowing shots everywhere. He teleported a unit of archers over and started bullying my poor bliss barb. So I was aware that I had to save my CPs for that. They ended up crossing their fingers on terrain, which, I mean, crossing your fingers for bliss barbs to survive is not great. But the moment that they were out of the way, his unit of archers were just so much less reliable, not being buffed by techless. So that they just get way less effective. And I had my my terrain piece here that I was ready to summon from if he didn't stand too close to it. So we had a super close back and forth that basically came down to my keeper surviving just about by 2 wounds in his last turn, and then in my last turn, me basically surrounding Teclis with my entire army and killing him to the wound, including Demonettes fighting twice.
Wow, really?
And that won me the game.
And that was Slay the Warlord as well, I guess, because I can see the card tucked under the base. So wow, okay.
So that like the game
to
came
the
down
wound,
to
even
that.
with all that in there, it took you 2 goes with the Demonettes and all those attacks to kill Teclis.
Well, we had the 5-up after save.
Oh, yeah, the Aether Court, the after save, all that defense.
And when a keeper's, I mean, keeper's not very good when it's.
No, that's true, actually. Yeah.
When it's on full health, and it wasn't on full health. So yeah, like literally, it took like, I think not all the Demonettes could get in to fight, but it took 2 rounds of all the Demonettes that were in combat from the keeper, and I killed him to the wound, and that got me the game. At that point, it was an absolutely, like, this is probably the best game of Age of Sigmar I have ever had. I think like it was really good and really close. It wouldn't have been if I hadn't got first turn.
And it's against Lumineth, people. Get in the comments. Get in the comments. Just like everyone's, oh, I told you, redemption story for Lumineth. All this, but it's fine.
Not saying their book isn't complete bullcrap, but
but you still have good games against them.
My God, it does everything. But yeah, it's God, that list is impressive though. That list as a 1-drop is just up there.
Luckily, you had a 1-drop. You probably probably at the event going. And when you turned up with a 1-drop Slaanesh army, he's probably thinking, "Oh no, actually, this could be bad."
Well, I had he was. I told him when I got it, I was like, "Okay, we got a game now. Like this is going to be. I'm going to do my best to give you a really bad day, and you're going to feel bad, and then you're going to feel better as the turns go on.
This will not be over quickly, and you will not enjoy this." Is that what you said?
Yeah, and then I won't enjoy it. But is it like, my God, their list is just so, it just does everything. Everything's more resilient than it should be and stuff like that. And things like my Hellstriders just died quicker than I'm used to against almost anything.
Yeah.
So like all that high reach spearman stuff.
Wardens really, are the best combat unit in the book, hands down. If I was playing Lumineth, I'd probably just take 3 units of 20 Wardens. Like,
so good.
Just don't think they're just so good.
They're amazing. Yeah, they're absolutely brilliant.
Especially in Sire with Kaflars, you're just like...
Yeah, if Sigmar hadn't died quite so easily, I was expecting to take a wound or 2, maybe 3, not die in the turn that I charged.
That's not...
I was thinking I'd be investing my next phase in a heroic recovery, and then, weathering some magic missiles or something like that.
That's tough, man. Using Sigmar on the turn you charge and you've dictated the charge. It's like, that's tough.
Bit poopy. He had the option as well to, after the keeper's pile in, she might have managed to be within 12 of him, so he could have gone a second
twice.
Time.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, so didn't get the chance of that, and he would have mullered them. Like, he's just a blender. Everything he touched there, he had a decent chance of doing wounds too, even if they got the they hadn't got the after save buffed yet. Really, really great game. Absolutely, like, amazing opponent. There were a couple of things where we had little, like, not disagreements, but like, oh no, like that couldn't because of this or whatever, and it was just very, very clear and worked out really nicely. So I ended up giving him, it was close, I ended up giving him my best spots. And then that would have been a second.
Yeah, I think because I gave Matt mine, and I think both Matt's actually. I think it was really hard because all my games were great.
Oh, yeah.
So like, I don't know who to give it to, but I tend to, in that case, I give it to people who give me like a really close, good game, or like something about it was just really chill, and like it was a bit weird because the 2 games I lost, I gave them people my sports. I don't know, but it's just
hallmark of a really good event. I was the same. Had I lost that game against him, I would have still given him my best sports because it was just like everything felt very relaxed, even though on the table it was tense or close.
Yeah,
given how the results were, wasn't.
I love a good competitive game, and like when I played Matt Rose, we were talking a lot, and we were discussing his list choices, and he knew OBR. Then we were talking. He was saying he saw my list or saw that list, and he wanted to play with it, and he was excited to get his OBR out. So we had a lot of back and forth, and a lot of like, and we all knew all the stuff that was big in the game, and we didn't really make bad decisions really, and it would come down to minutiae, and that's the best. Those games are the games that stick in my brain. I still remember a lot of it now, whereas like it's but great. And but that's basically the event and what we did. And I just wanted to, say that Steve Wren did a great job running the event.
He really did. Yeah.
Along with the crew at Warhammer World and, the Bugmans, all that kind of stuff. But
got to fess up and say that on average, the painting standard was higher than FACEHAMMER, which isn't something that I ever thought I would be able to say. Like, out of the 40 people there, 30 of the armies were like,
it's just nuts,
like amazing, and 20 were just absolutely incredible. Like the proportion of like, double page spread, center page white dwarf were the armies.
I mean, it was crazy. Like, so I've got photos actually. Let's go have a quick look. So you had Jimbo, not Jimbo, Jim Bob, whatever his name is. Jimbo, not Jim Bob. Daughters of Cain, they were his, weren't they? I think they were Daughters of Cain. They were his, weren't they?
Yeah. So, yeah.
And then he had like all the line edge highlighted scales on his serpent, and just all the base, and it's based on that Beast Grave, like Giant's Causeway stuff.
Yeah, so good.
Really, really nice. I mean, the photos are a bit bad because of the lights and the glass. It's hard to take decent photos, but and I don't know whose everyone's were because there's no names, but there was a really cool, interesting, converted, like weird Fimir-esque ogre Nurgle army, which had like ogres on flies and big turtles and big like hairy things. I don't know what they're. I think
round one it was facing the nuts Seraphon Necron army, and the table just looked like a mushroom trip. It's just like I just didn't know what was going on.
You got like an ogre on a snail biting the snail's eye with a palanquin with a turtle strapped to it with an ogre surfing on it. I don't know what it is.
Of course,
it's amazing. I think it might be a Beastclaw Raider army. I think there might be Yetis. That might be it's probably that. But it was it's crazy. Then I think this is John Kerr's, or is it Dan Quirk's Archeon army?
Dan Quirk's Archeon.
Dan Quirk, yeah. So converted up Archeon with Varangard, and then you've got like he's used some of the 40k kits to make like I guess that's a Manticore.
He's used a Helldrake, hasn't
horrors. He? Yeah. So the Helldrake and the Annihilator type thing. And there's lots of conversions in here. It's very, very cool.
Solid.
And Archeon
he's always been a good painter.
Awesome. It's just like painted well, converted. Everything was very heavily bespoke and converted. Then obviously we've got Phil's Cruel Boys with all your washes and swap bases. We've spoke about
amazing.
A lot. So
massive love.
And the little chap tied up in front of Gobsprak, which I quite like. It reminds me a little bit of the old. Is it Jason the Argonauts where the gets tied up in the swamp and and the big bird swoops in and super good. Then we mentioned already the heavily converted Sylvaneth from John Kerr.
Okay,
right? I always get his two mixed up. I don't know why. Because they used to go to the same events.
Yeah, the Aegon crowd, weren't they?
Yeah. Lots of old school Treeman and Dryads. I really like those old metal Dryads.
That's
old
cool.
Demonette for a Branch Witch and big chubby Tree Lord. And then Alariel's like on this massive tree stump, and it's the old Alariel, which is cool.
Yeah.
Tom Hewitt's Party Drinking Ogres, which is very nice. Yeah, good to see them out. Just really, really solid, nice conversion, really nice basing. I really like the color palette on these. I think he's done a bit more work on them since FACEHAMMER, but it's they look like they've had a bit more highlighting done on the blue and stuff, but they look really nice. Then is it Dan? No, who's this? The City's army that's really nice. Which looks amazing. I can't remember whose it is.
Was that Chris Swift?
Yes. Yeah.
Just like mega ultra classic, done to a high level. Yeah, super solid. Yeah,
I love the conversion. I think these are the ones that are in the Warhammer World cabinet and the rockets firing out and all that. I mean, it's just an amazing army. So
really like a proper pleasure. You could just look around it for like 15 minutes. Just gorgeous.
Then the Necron Seraphon, which are
crazy,
so nuts. Like
I got nervous being in proximity to that army.
Yeah, I had the picture up earlier when you were talking about your games because I didn't have any photos. I just had the big Slann. It's just like bigger than Archeon.
Yeah.
Very unique paint style. This
you
know, almost like cell shaded type.
The reflection. Yeah. Nuts. It's I can admire it and I do like it, but I wouldn't vote for it because it's too inexplicably weird for me.
I think the basing as well, like for me, lets it down quite a lot.
It does hugely. Yeah, is it the one that are they like greeny?
Yeah, just like greeny blue slate, but it's not really got anything going on
it. On like a dry planet with some weird ferns that look,
it'd be nice to have
like a bit alien and weird.
Some more tones in the basing that contrasted with the models, make the models pop a bit more.
I think you either go as weird as the models, or you put it in like a meadow and are just like, this is nuts. Like if you put it in a meadow or something classic, that'd make it look even more strange, I think.
I just think the bases almost like blend into the models too much. It's and because of the lines, it's very hard to like see it. But the Slann on the monolith is just like nuts.
So good.
It is amazing. Don't get me wrong. Not criticism. People watching this going, "Oh, you've been a bit critical." No, it is. Amazing.
Absolute admiration for it. Like the repetition in the army at that level, at that precision, being that bold, which is not forgiving, is just outstanding. Really crazy.
And I love the fact it's like, they're like space lizards, and it's just lent into that theme completely. Although I'm not sure how the old ones would feel about them having Necron bits all over them, but that's another story. And that was all the armies. I think there was Ben Smith there with his Quadron on a big display base, but I missed it because it wasn't in the cabinet.
It wouldn't fit.
So I do apologise to Ben Smith, but it was nominated, and that's a very good achievement in this field. So I would say that
And for people who weren't nominated, like in that field, I wouldn't take that to heart because it was nuts.
Yeah, it was crazy. I love the fact they had to take a glass shelf out to fit the lizard in. Nuts.
Respect.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Army sounded amazing. Phil took it out, and then I think they gave a judge's choice to the Sylvaneth and
Johns.
Yeah, and I think there was 1, 2, 3 paint, wasn't there? So I
think there might have been.
Yeah, it was, and which is quite nice to see that they've done multiple painting trophies. And the level of hobby was outstanding.
It's really good. Like, not that people do it for it, but I think if you're going to reward painting 1, 2, 3 in an event where you're doing 1, 2, 3, there's quite a big visual difference between the prizes for the gaming and the painting. Yeah. And I don't think that discrepancy is warranted, especially at a Warhammer World event, which is all about the hobby in all respects. So maybe like if anyone is listening, I think it would make sense for those to be not the same thing, but comparable things.
Well,
instead of just like a glass thing.
Back in the day, like it was a hand holding a brush.
Yeah,
because I've got one with my warriors, and I was really happy with that. And then it was a hand holding a hammer, hand holding a brush, or it was like the throne of skulls. Like
theirs look like best in race trophies. I would say
they were like little glass things. I mean, still cool, but like
still fine, I think, and not ugly. But
it would have been nice to have a bespoke demon type, golden demon-esque type thing.
Yeah, exactly. Baby demon.
Like a army demon or something, like a group of demons on a chair or something like something bespokely cool. But yeah, I mean, like it was cool. But I mean, like still an achievement, still super good to win it. I'm sure Phil was pretty overwhelmed, I think, by it. So yeah, it was good. But great time, great event, loved it, had a lot of fun.
We'll go back. Yeah, we'll absolutely go back.
And that's probably about it for this video. So hopefully you enjoyed our recanting of the event, the pictures, and our kind of very brief but kind of stories about our games, because I took a silly army, and it was what it was.
A mess. So apologies.
You're a bit of a mess. So I didn't want to say it, but yeah. But I would say, like, that's Warhammer. It was great, and some content coming out soon. Got some Stormcast focus stuff I want to do, and we obviously continue to report on what's happening and stuff, and we should see a bit more frequency in the videos coming out and coming into December as my real life DIY craziness calms down.
Start doing the right type of painting again, mate.
Yeah, stop painting walls and start painting miniatures.
Exactly.
Yeah, so hopefully you enjoyed the video. Let us know what you think about any of the lists. If you've got any questions, put them in the comments below. like and subscribe, do the algorithm. If you want to support us, then we've got Patreon, Ko-fi, all that kind of stuff, and merch.
Objective markers out soon as well. So watch this space. We will probably, the next video will include a link to the new objective markers, a little bit cheaper. Same high quality stuff though, just less variety in the markers in that package.
Yeah, and we've also improved the flap, so there's some closing on the flap that allows us to seal them now. So
and the finish of them has been changed actually.
Is it?
Really retentive about it. Yeah,
I'm excited. I'll have to buy another set now. But they're slightly cheaper as well coming out, but they should be coming in the next couple of weeks. Watch this space. We'll share those links on social media in the comments and stuff like that. So if you want to support us and pick up a set of those, they're super useful. You could see them in use in some of the games. You see the big blue rings. That's what we're talking about. So come along and join our Discord if you want to have a bit of a chat and join our community. Super appreciated. And I should be a bit more active on there soon. It's just been super busy. So and watch this space and catch you all again soon.
In a bit, guys. Bye.
Cheers, guys.